Hey guys, so I'm back with another video. This video is kind of different. I kind of wanted to tell the story of when I was a personal assistant to a well-known influencer. I tried to record the video earlier, but I was kind of jumping around a lot, so I made some like notes so I won't, lose train of thought and what I'm talking about because it's some stuff. It's some tea. But I won't be saying who I was a personal assistant for. I just want to get that out there. I'm not trying to gain clout off their name or trying to, trying to be messy. But I just wanted to share my experience. And yeah, I'm kind of going to be giving you like the pros and the cons of being an assistant. And I'm going to break it down in kind of like a story for y'all. So let's just jump right into it. So I'm gonna name this person Peaches because I know I'm gonna want to say their name, so I'm just gonna name them Peaches. So how I got introduced to the job, my cousin, she works for Snapchat. I don't know how that correlated to her knowing Peaches, or I really didn't ask her, but she's like works in HR, and she was really good friends with Peach's management. She was really good friends with Peach's management. And Peach's manager reached out to my cousin and was just like, hey, we're hiring for personal assistants. If you know anyone who would qualify or would be interested, send resumes and let us know. So my cousin reached out to me and was just like, they're looking for an assistant. Would you be interested? And I'm like, yeah, I'm interested because as you can see from my channel, I do beauty. And one thing I will say about Peaches is they are well known kind of in the beauty industry. So I was like, heck yeah. I was like, what? This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, yes, I want to, work for them. So she's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and submit in your resume and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. So maybe like a week later, I interview with Peaches and her manager. So at first, usually when I interview, I am really nervous and I ramble a lot and I talk about just ramble. I'm like really not good with interviewing. It's just something that I'm just not good at, period. But this interview actually, I felt like it went really well. Like we hit it off right off the bat and we were laughing and talking about things that did not necessarily correlate to the interview. So I was like, oh, I have this in the bag. Like I'm finna get this job. Like, what am I worried about? No, sis, it didn't happen like that. So after the interview, maybe like a week went by, I'm like talking to my cousin, like, yo, like, did she pick someone or like what's going on? And my cousin informed me that they moved on with somebody else. And I was super bummed. Like, I was like, wow, like, I really thought, like, I had this in the bag. Like, and I was just really, really, really bummed out. So I was like, on to the next. So it was really hard for me to find a job. It's been actually hard for me to find a job. So maybe a couple weeks went by. My cousin hit me up again and was just like, hey, good news. Guess what? And she told me that the assistants that she had hired, unfortunately, did not work out. And she was like, are you still interested? I'm like, hell yes. But what I found out, I was the last option because they had someone else that didn't work out and they offered the position to another person, and then I guess they declined, and then little old me. So I was kind of like, damn, like I was really like they last of the last. So it kind of made me feel like, wow, okay. But I was trying not to look at it like that. I was trying to look at it like God sent me this job. Like, this is an opportunity. Take it. Like, this is going to lead you to the next steps and where you want to be. So I'm like, okay, let me look at it like that. So, another week or so went by. They offered me the job, and it was time for me to meet Peaches in person to go over basically what I'll be doing in the job. This chair is like really bothering me, like the squeaking. So it was time for me to meet Peaches and for her to go over the job with me and things that I'll be doing and just a breakdown of basically the job more in depth. So I meet her. Mind you, she lives in North Hollywood. I live in the IE. And if you don't know what the IE is, it's the Inland Empire, and it's Corona, Riverside, Moreno Valley, Rancho, if I'm not mistaken. So all those, if I'm missing, I know I'm probably missing some. But I live in Corona, which is considered the IE. And that is about an hour and a half, 1 hour and 30 minutes is what I'm trying to say. 1 hour and 30 minutes away from North Hollywood. So I was not close at all. So I was making that drive every day. But I was just so excited about the job. I was like, I'm willing to run on my mileage. Like, what? So I met her. So, getting off track. So, came to the day for me to meet her. Peaches is very sweet. Like, that's why I'm naming her Peaches, because she's sweet. Anyway, she's very sweet right off the bat. We vibe. Like, she's just really a genuine sweet person. Yeah, like, so she was, like, basically telling me the breakdown of the job, what I'll be doing, and all that kind of stuff. And she asked me if I wanted to travel with her. And, oh, let me jump back real quick. So, in the interview, when I was interviewing, they were making it seem like, you know, I was gonna be flying. I was gonna be booking flights. We're asking me if I had my passport and all this kind of stuff. So I'm thinking like, oh, I'm finna be flued out. I'm finna be popping. I'm finna make money, because they were saying like, oh, you know, this job requires a lot. You'll be working long nights, early mornings, all that kind of stuff. It's long hours. I'm like, oh, I'm finna be paid and be flued out. What? So I'm thinking all this, and something like, yes, like, what, I got this in the bag or whatever. I'm living the dream of what everybody want to do. We're gonna get to that. So anyways, so back to what I was saying, I was the day that I met her. So we were talking about what is expecting me of the job, what's in the assistant guide that I need to be doing every day, and basically just like little stuff. So we talked for maybe about 2 hours or so, and then she was just like, you know, that's it. She's like, I don't think I need you tomorrow. You can come back. She's like, basically, I'll text you when I need you, but I probably won't need you tomorrow. And I was like, okay, that's fine, or whatever. So I left. I left all the way home to Corona. And one thing is, she wanted somebody in the LA area. And my cousin had told her I lived in LA, so I was kind of pretending like I was living in LA, and I really was not. It's a little like, I know I should have. You know, I wanted the job so bad, I was willing to do anything. So I went all the way back home or whatever, and the next day she texted me at like 11 a.m. and was just like, I have no one to record me at the gym. Would you mind meeting me at 1? And I'm freaking out. Like, oh my God, like I need to get it together. I need to throw on whatever I have and be in North Hollywood by 1. So literally I jumped out of bed, brushed my teeth real quick, did my hair, threw on some clothes, and was on that freeway like speed. Like I was in a Fast and Furious movie. So I got there, was able to meet her there. I was actually there before her, which was kind of cool. So I get there, whatever, and there's a whole bunch of other influencer, social media people there working out, and we literally stayed at the gym for maybe like 15 minutes. I recorded her doing her workout so she can post it to her platform, and then we left, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. And I remember after the gym, she asked me like if I could go to the store for her and pick up a couple things, because she wanted to record a video for it or whatever. And I was like, that's fine. So I'm thinking like, you know, she's gonna like maybe give me a card or like give me some money for the store. And she was just like, just give me the receipt and I'll cash up you the money later. At first, this wasn't a problem. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, I don't mind doing that. As time went on, it became like where she would forget to kind of cash at me the money. And I'm like, the way I was raised, I know this makes no sense, but the way I was raised, or how am I about to explain it? It makes no sense. But anyway, it was like not to like ask, and I like not to be thirsty over like, money. So, I would buy stuff and then I would send her the receipt, and sometimes I would have to remind her to cash at me the money back. It was just only a few times, but I kind of felt like, or sometimes I would have to, remind her to cash at me. Anyways, or sometimes like I would have to remind her to cash at me the money back from like what I bought that day, and it was kind of getting like annoying. And her mother would, I remember one day she had me run some errands for her, and I brought back the receipt, and her mother was just like, oh, we'll just reimburse you back in your checks. So I'm thinking like, already kind of broke, actually really broke, and you guys want me to wait 2 weeks to be reimbursed for stuff that I bought. I was buying stuff that was pretty pricey. I was like running up my credit bad. Like anyways, I'm still trying to pay that off, but because I would buy stuff off my credit, and then my debit card is linked to my Cash App, so I was really smart about how I handled that. All right, so anyways, so as time went by, it was maybe like 2 weeks with working with Peaches, and I was noticing that the hours were kind of like, they were everywhere, and I was maybe working like 14 to 15 hours or less, and I really wasn't making a lot. I was making just the bare minimum just to pay my car note, and it really wasn't working out. So I kind of brought it up to my cousin, like, hey, like, because she was kind of like considered like the HR. So I would talk to my cousin, and I'd be like, hey, I don't know if this is gonna work out for me, because I'm driving hella far to North Hollywood, and I don't feel like it's really worth it because I'm not making a lot. Like, she kind of just calls me when she needs me. Like, I'm kind of like an on-call assistant, and I don't really think that would work. And my cousin's like, no, I totally understand. I guess her and Peach's manager was going to have a meeting with her about being structured and having a structured schedule for her, so things would flow better, so I can make money and I can live, because no one can just live off of working 14 or 15 hours less. So I guess they had a meeting about her being more structured, and the meeting went well, because after she had sent me this long paragraph telling me like, okay, so basically we're gonna give you a structured schedule now, like you're gonna come from here to here. And I was like, okay, yeah, that works. It's better for me. Now I know what I'm gonna be making around, because I like to calculate my money and put money aside so I can just better, what's the word? So I can just basically manage myself better in my money. And no, it didn't go like the way I thought. But I was still making just the bare minimum to pay my car note, because I would start at like 1, but then she would tell me to come in later. I'm still getting paid to start at 1, but then I would only work till 6. So every time I'm starting at, it was supposed to be 6 hours. 6 hours no matter what. I was getting that base pay 6 hours. Plus the hourly that I made, which was really nothing. So, and time would fluctuate all the time. Sometimes I would only work 4 hours, and I was supposed to be getting paid. What I was supposed to be getting paid was, I was supposed to work 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. So that 5 times 6 is 30. So I was supposed to work 30 hours each week, but that's not how it was set up. I would write on, they gave me like this little calendar sheet I would write my hours on, and then they would go ahead and calculate that and give me a check. Peach's parents are very involved in her life. Not saying that's a bad thing. but she's very involved, and I kind of felt like her mom really didn't want me to be there or want Peaches to have an assistant, because she was with paying me the bare minimum. Like they wanted her to pay me less because they felt like Peaches needed to manage her money better. And at first they were kind of telling her that she didn't need an assistant, and kind of convincing her that she didn't need one. So whatever I wrote on that sheet, that's what I was getting paid. And it would be, I was still working 15 hours or less, which kind of, it sucked. But I just felt like in my mind, I kept telling myself like, things will get better. It will get better, you know. It's kind of like a slow time right now. I just gotta thug it out. This is really what I want to do. Like, I'm gonna learn so much, and all that. So that's how that went down. I just decided to stick it out. And as time went on, I met her manager side, and her manager side had assistants. He had two. Peach's manager, had two assistants that I was supposed to work very closely with, because they would send in emails, and assistant duties are to, you know, respond to emails, be responsible for responding to them like in a timely manner, so and so and so. Mind you, little side note, I have never been an executive assistant prior to this, so I really didn't know like what was really needed of me, like a personal assistant, like somebody's. It's different when you're an office assistant and then a personal assistant, because an office assistant is kind of like you're structured, you're there, you know what you're doing, you're at a desk. Being somebody's personal assistant, it's kind of like things. It's not like it's not structured. Things are different each day. Literally, they're different. So I met her manager's assistants, and I worked close with them, and I would respond to emails from them and things like that. And at first, you know, it was hard to, you know, figure out what was, not figure out what was needed of me, that's what I was about to say, but kind of figure out the flow of things, because it was just so different to anything that I've ever been used to doing. And her manager is very, very, very strict. Like, he wants somebody on point, no mess ups. You cannot mess up. Like, no. I messed up maybe like couple times too many, and he went off on me basically through email that I'm unorganized, that we need to get ourselves together because we're unorganized. And I was just like, okay, like, whatever. Like, I guess, I get it, I guess. So let's talk about responding to emails. So responding to emails that her manager's assistants would send through the email, at first it was kind of confusing on, you know, they were very particular about like email chains and sending the correct information and responding in a timely manner. And working with Peaches, she was very bad at communication, especially when I was not with her, because some days I would not be with her and I would be kind of working from home, because that's what the job also kind of was about, was working from home and working close with her in her home. So on the days that I wouldn't be with her, I would still be on call for emails, needing to send them over to her and have her respond. She was like just terrible with responding back. Like, it was kind of like pulling teeth, trying to get information to respond back to the email so I can send them back in a timely manner. And it was kind of like everything was pouring back on me. Like, I'm supposed to I'm supposed to be the one that's connecting everything. Like, I'm the assistant, I'm supposed to be on point, everything's supposed to be on point, emails, etc. But it's kind of like when you're working with somebody who is not communicating with you and you're not with them 24/7, it's like, how are we supposed to make things flow when the main person is not, you know, working with me? Like, teamwork makes the dream work 100%, and that was just lacking in that area completely. And every week we would do like these like weekly reviews of each other. Like I would tell her things that I would like about her, like things that I didn't like about her that we needed to work on, and things that I liked that, you know, with her, things that I liked working about with her, and she would do the same. And I remember one of her long paragraphs. I think I have it. I don't wanna like air it out, but basically one made me really like aggy and mad, and I said it to my mom. I felt like she was kind of like coming at me. Basically, she was telling me that I was kind of lagging on emails, that they needed to be responded on time. As soon as they came in, I needed to respond to them and send her the email so we can respond to it in a timely manner, and me being more organized and checking my assistant guide before I left and making sure that things were done before I left. And in that assistant guide, it was things like changing her dog's potty pad, cleaning up his poop, taking out the trash, making sure like if her mom is washing the dishes, I offer to help and wash dishes. And I kind of like was confused about that because I felt like I am there to help you be business organized. I'm not there to be your personal maid also. And also with Peaches, what I started to notice is that she wanted to be like my friend. And it was kind of becoming like a friendship more than it was work. So we would be just like, it was like I was just going to the homegirl's house and chilling, basically. That's how it was progressing into. And I'm thinking like, this is work. Like I need to separate that, like, because then she started getting mad at me that I wasn't being on top of things. But it's just like, you having a personal assistant, you need to have that kind of structure. But me also, I needed to realize that I needed to snap back into it and be like, hey, we should do this. But you know, everything is a lesson learned. So we would get sidetracked with other things and not like the business side. Like we would literally go to the mall go to the mall. Like it was literally not, it didn't feel like a job. And I think that's another thing that made her manager mad and her manager assistants, because we weren't responding back to emails when they needed to not be responded to. And one of her manager's assistants I had a problem with because she was kind of she started to get rude to me. Like she was very business professional, but when you're rude about things, that's when I draw the line. Like she would try to make me feel like I was just dumb, like I didn't know what I was doing, or I was just messing up everything. And I remember a situation where Peaches had a video shoot that they had to go on to, and it was a 2-day video shoot, and the call time was like, I want to say it was like 10 in the morning till 8. And on one of the days, the call time had changed from 8 to, I believe it was like 12, and she sent it in one of the email changes that the call time had changed, and I acknowledged it, and I sent it over to Peaches like, okay, the call time is changing. I just wanted to make sure that you seen this, but we had not responded in the email chain. And I guess that the assistant got mad. Her manager's assistant got mad and included us both in the text message and was like, make sure that you guys are responding to emails. So I know that you guys seen it and everything is going smooth, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I was like, okay, I understand. I'm sorry. So she decides to text me personally and off my little work phone that I had received. So she decides to text me off my work phone and ask me, what time did you guys arrive today? And I was like, we arrived at 11:30. Like we arrived like 30 minutes before, but actually we didn't get started till about like 1, just because they were kind of behind on everything because they had a lot of girls that they had to do makeup, hair, all that. So it was their behind. Like we were early. So she's like, what time did you guys arrive? And I was like, 11:30. And then she was like, well, I didn't see you update the calendar or something like that. And I was like, what calendar? Like, what calendar? And she was like, see, you being an assistant, you need to make sure that she's on point with things and responding to emails and updating calendars. I can't believe you don't know what the calendar is. First of all, we never went over calendars. We never went over content calendars, or to update calendars, or to, she never showed me how to put information into the calendar. And I guess there was a certain like Google app calendar that I had to have on the phone that I did not have. So I'm kind of just like, what is this girl talking about? And she was being so rude to me, like rude. And that's why I drew the line. I was like, no, you're not going to keep talking to me like this. So I kind of like snapped back, but in a professional way, and kind of told her, like, you're not finna talk to me like this. Like, I'm still new. I'm still trying to learn the gist of everything. Like, I didn't know that there was a calendar that I need to have, a certain app. And so she kind of came back like, no, I'm not trying to say that. I know you're still learning everything, but you just need to make sure as being her assistant that you're keeping everything updated and you're responding to emails. I was like, I get that, sis, but you don't need to come at me like that. Like, I'm a person. Like, one thing I can say about her management is they don't treat you like a person. They treat you like you're supposed to be like this robot, perfect person that's on top of everything. Like, your life does not exist. You need to be responding to emails 24/7 when they come in. You need to just be on point. Realistically, that is not what it is in a perfect world. Like, I understand that you guys work in like an office. We're not working in an office. Everything is different. It fluctuates throughout the day. Like, it fluctuates. We're always moving. We're always doing something. So I'm not attached to this phone 24/7. So that's another thing that I did not like about the job. Like, I had this phone. Like, I was constantly stuck to this phone, making sure I was responding to emails. Like, I just felt like I did not have a life. Like, that's how I basically felt. So that was just, and so while we were at the video shoot, Peaches had a potential brand that wanted to work with her, but they needed her like in-depth skincare regimen routine so they can see if she's like basically qualified to collab with the brand. And the day prior to this, one of the assistants that I had the problem with was like, can you please get this to me by at least by 12 or so. And I was like, yeah, that's fine or whatever. But it was the day that we had the video shoot. I don't know if I mentioned that. So, you know, I'm trying to get everything together. They needed the dog for the video shoot. So I'm trying to get the dog together. I'm trying to get Peaches together, everything that she needs that's in the assistant guide so we can have everything together. And I'm telling Peaches, like, we need to get on this email so we can just have that squared away and not worry about it. She's like, no, we can just work on it at the, the video shoot. It's fine. Like, we'll just work at it. See if we can push it back till, like, 1 o'clock. So I was like, okay. So I'm like texting this and like, hey, like, we're running around a little bit. Is it okay if I have this to you by 1? She loses her mind. Like, she's like, you said that you were going to have this to me by whatever time I said, like 12. You said you were going to have this to me by 12. And now you're talking about 1. I told them that they needed it by 1. Like, you need to have this done by da-da-da because that's when you told me you were going to have it ready. And I'm just like, yo, like, I have worked in the customer service before, and it is okay. At least it is okay to respond to emails within that 24-hour period. You do not need to respond to emails just like that. Like, people have lives, but they did not understand that. I don't think they really understand what we were really doing. Like, things. It was just a big communication gap of what we were doing and what they were doing, because they were at the desk 24/7, so they didn't get that I was not glued to this phone like they're glued to their computers. So she kind of went off, and I was able to get the email to her by 1, and I was feeling stressed out and just rushed and just off because I'm worried about getting this email on time. So I had accidentally sent that email in the wrong email chain, and her manager went off on me and was like, you're super unorganized, you're behind on everything, my assistant shouldn't be having to tell you how to be organized. He's like, maybe this isn't job. Like, he had this whole on thing, and it kind of made me feel bad about myself. Like, wow, like, okay. And after he sent that, I kind of knew in my mind, like, I feel like this is this is not going to work, because they want somebody just super on point, super just glued to the phone, perfect, who's done this before. But I just feel like in a perfect world, that is really unrealistic. And I told her that. I told Peaches that. I was like, I feel like they want somebody perfect, on point, and they don't understand that we're constantly on the move, constantly, you know, doing things, and I'm constantly being distracted about one thing. Like, they just want it all to flow, and just to be perfect. And I'm just like, that is not realistic in this world. It's not realistic. It really isn't. But at the same time, like, we really wouldn't be doing anything for me not to be responding back to the emails. Like, say if the email came in and I'll be like, oh, let's respond to this. Like, she would kind of brush it off and like move to something else. So that would like shift my distraction. And we wouldn't come back to it like way later. So it was just all just an unorganized mess, honestly. And I never dealt like that, but it's all a learning experience. And it was around the time that Christmas came around, and I had got like 3 weeks off, basically, I wasn't getting paid for, you know, anything responding to. It was kind of slow because her management team had shut down for the holidays, so I was off for 3 weeks without pay. So I was kind of like, okay, I guess when I start back, you know, things will start to pick up. But I kind of felt like in my soul, like, you know, maybe this is just not meant for me at this moment in time. I just feel like everything that went down prior to before the holiday started was just like, I would be driving to work, I would be like, I can't do this. Like, I hate this job. Like, I really do. And not because I hated Peaches. Like, she's really a nice, genuine person. It's not to bash anyone. It was basically her management team really made me feel like I wasn't good enough. Like, I just felt like I couldn't do the job. Like, I just really dreaded going to work every day, just having to deal with them and responding to emails, and I just felt like I just felt like I was depressed. I really did. But I just knew, like, I just feel like they're gonna let me go when the holidays are over. And they did. So when I came back, she kind of let me know, like, my management team kind of feels like I need to go in a different direction. They want me to be more structured and figure myself out, because she was telling me that she never had an assistant before, and me not ever being somebody's assistant, I feel like it just kind of, it didn't work. So they were saying that she needs to work on herself, being more structured, and they need somebody who is basically on point, one step ahead of her, and somebody that can do the job just perfectly, no mistakes. And I was like, I understand. Ultimately, I just felt like the cons really outweighed the pros of the job. You know, I really didn't get to stay long enough to travel or to, you know, go to the parties. I was invited to like one party, but unfortunately, because I was informed always last minute, and I never really got to go to the parties or get to do really anything. But the pros of working, I got to learn how to edit videos. I never knew how to edit videos, and see the background of how everything works, because this is a career that I want to be in. So just getting to see the kind of like the back, how do I explain that? The behind the scenes of how everything goes down. It was really dope. It was really cool. All her friends were nice. I enjoyed working with them, and yeah, just like, it was too bad all those cons had to really outweigh the pros of the job, because I really did like getting to learn how to edit and getting to see different apps that she uses and all that cool stuff. It was dope. But if I was asked to be a personal assistant again, I probably would not. I would decline it with a hell no. That's just how I felt. Mainly because of her management team fucking sucks. Not sucks because they're like, I guess they're amazing for her because they get her a lot of work or whatever, but they just don't know how to treat people. Like, and I just feel like nobody is gonna want to be treated like that, and that was just my main problems. And it wasn't in my path to have that job, which is totally understandable. There's more things in life, and there's something greater coming, and yeah, I just wanted to share that story with you guys. Being a personal assistant to a mega influencer. So I hope this video doesn't like cause any like, you know, I didn't say anybody's name because I know I didn't want to, you know, gain any clout, but I just felt like if you're thinking about becoming a personal assistant to somebody, you just have to know, like, it's nothing what you think it is, like, and those are things that you really have to think about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching if you watched.